Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com, and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing. Hey metalheads, after going to a rager, what's your ultimate go-to? Mine is totally pizza. So when Overload is playing, or I'm promoting the Metal Forge live showcases, or the big goddamn metal show, I go to Pizza DoNisi. Pizza DoNisi is gourmet artisan pizza from right here in Louisville, Kentucky. It features things like the pizza of the month, the sandwiches, and also vegetarian and vegan options, which is so totally fucking cool for all of it's awesome pizza. You definitely want to go. Hey, and also from time to time they do cannolis. Oh, so fucking good. You know what they said, man? Leave the gun, take the cannoli. Yeah, just like that in Godfather. They're located right next to the Mag Bar at 1396 South 2nd Street. So either stop in or call in at 502-213-0488. They're open till midnight. The witching hour.
Heineken? Fuck that shit! Pabst Blue Ribbon!
Hey metalheads, you all hear me talk about Mag Bar all the time. It is the home to the Metal Forge live showcases and is an integral stop in the Ultimate Underground Metal Tour schedule. They obviously feature live music, but the Mag Bar also has daily specials like Pint and Slice Night on Tuesdays with Pizza DoNisi. But they also do Bring Your Own Vinyl on Thursdays with DJ Kent Jackson, and Finer Things Sundays. Located right next to Pizza DoNisi at 1398 South 2nd Street, open 3 p.m. to 4 a.m. 7 days a week. Get your asses out to the Mag Bar. Rock out. For 45 years in keeping Louisville weird, Electric Ladyland has been there for all your eccentricities. While they do offer the best smoking supplies out on the market today, there's a whole lot more to check out. From ashtrays and blacklight posters, to records, incense and burners, and items to stock your metaphysical supply. They are open from 10 to 10, 7 days a week. Located at 2325 Bardstown Road in Louisville, Kentucky, and at electricladyland420.com. Roll out.
In a broken wasteland, come to my fire and place your blood and steel upon my pyre. Oh, this is the Metal Forge. 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 With crimson coals,
What's going on, metalheads? Thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of the Metal Forge. My name is Mark Jackson, and I am your host. Holy hell, we are already halfway through February. I cannot believe it. It has been super fucking crazy, and like, wow, man. So today, Jason Gardner is here with us from the Heavy Metal Wasteland and everywhere else.
Hello.
Dude, how are you doing, man?
Man, pretty good. Recording this after a long day at work, so I'm a little tired, but I'll push on through.
Dude, you live in the United States. If you're not fucking tired, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you.
I mean, usually I'm okay, because sometimes I really don't have hard days, which are my favorite days.
Well, yeah.
Today was difficult because it was on a house on a hill. And let's just say I had to make several trips up and down the driveway, and this was no average hill. This is a steep son of a bitch,
dude.
So.
That was the thing I hated the worst about fucking pest control, was fucking walking around people's houses on fucking hills, and there is like literally no fucking like contractor worth a shit on some of these fucking houses, like on the hills, because like certain shit, yeah, it might be structurally sound, but like they can totally backfill a little bit and fucking like do a thing. But no, fuck no, they don't do shit. Yeah. The worst thing I think is fucking doing the what is it, fucking under decks and shit like that, like when we're having a spray for fucking bugs and shit. Oh yeah. God, it's the worst.
Yeah, inclines suck. So yeah, anyway, that day is the hard part is done, so I can relax tomorrow.
Fuck yeah, man. So today we have Annihialator, not that one, but the fucking one from Texas. Yeah, just in Corpus Christi, and they've had some really fucking interesting things. You know, back in the first year of the podcast, you know, it's really no secret that we've had some fucking crazy shit where somebody was trying to use the name and basically told me to get fucked. Do you remember all that?
Yep.
And so all that got worked out, and they've kind of had the same thing happen to them, where this band started in the 80s, 1986. Then they kind of changed their name. Alex has been like the pretty much only original member, and he finally got the rights to his name, as we'll talk about later in the interview. But yeah, super fucking awesome stuff. Obviously, like I said, not that Annihialator, you know, from Canada or whatever. Annihialator from Texas, Annialator. Yeah, because he didn't know how to spell it when he was a fucking kid and shit. And it's cool, man. Yeah. We talk about that. It's awesome stuff. So if you look them up on the Metal Archives, it says disputed under the status, but I know that they are doing some other stuff. I think he's got a new album coming out this year too. So dude, what the fuck's up, man? Like, other than work, I mean, it seems like that's the time of year fucking that we just fucking... We ramped up at work too, and it fucking sucks. And you know, the mouth breathers. But anyway, I want to talk about this. I know I asked you what's up. So, how's the Wasteland going?
Going all right. I mean, slow news trickling out, not much going on. So I can talk about one thing I've been noticing here lately, trends-wise, is albums being released and announced pretty close together, which is good. So I'm referencing Midnight's new one. It was pretty much announced, I think the last day of January, comes out first week of March, maybe second week of March.
Yes.
And then Accept announced they got one coming out in April. So I don't have to wait long for that either. So yeah, fans, please keep this trend of announce video release date close together coming, because I'm a big fan of it. Don't have time for the album to get spoiled. You don't forget about it.
Well, yeah,
it's very nice. Let's just say that.
And that's the thing, because you know, during COVID, we all had to wait. We had to wait to get physical releases and shit like that, right? So here's another thing. Not only in April are you getting a new album there.
Mm-hmm.
But Blue Oyster Cult's putting out a new album too.
Well, there you go.
On April 12th, called Ghost Stories.
Yeah, I think that step is like mid to late April or something. So
yeah,
it was just announced like yesterday, so it's not really stuck in my mind. But the midnight one is pretty close. So
well, which is cool because you know which is cool because they put an album out in 2022 as well because it made my my top 5 list in 2022. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing that I'm really liking as well. You know, hammer us with the album releases. You know, get a single out there, do what you do, fucking release it, fucking. It seems like everything's back on track.
Hopefully, yeah.
With most places with vinyl.
Well, funny you say that because it's a perfect opportunity to push it. So I just had an Alehorn release last week with the owner of Ripple Records, Todd Severin, and we actually got into some pretty deep discussions about getting vinyl pressed because he is a label head. So if you're interested in like that part of the business, you should give it a listen because he really doesn't hold back. Minus talk about actually he did talk about how much money it costs too. Yeah, he really didn't hold back. So if you really want to know and from like the horse's mouth about stuff, you should listen to that interview because like it's pretty he's pretty forthcoming and doesn't try to sugarcoat anything.
Well, no, because you can't. You can't do that in the music business because you know we can see what it costs.
Right.
It's transparent, and you know that obviously if you get more pressed, it's going to be a little bit cheaper per unit. We all know that. So we're all dealing with the same thing. So when bands, you know, I think when bands overcharge, it's like, come on, is it really worth that? Where it has, you know, just like take a regular 12-inch vinyl, insert that is color, regular, whatever color, black poly, black paper pag with the poly in there, whatever. I mean, when you see that, and it's got a $20 price tag, I think that's respectable. But when you see these bands have like $30 price tags or $40 price tags on those, and they're not on tour with a band that's having to, you know, that you have to pull up to that level of pricing, that's a little bit ridiculous. That seems to be a little bit much.
Yeah, it's all covered in that interview, actually, what you just said about the... He released a triple disc set cheaper than some bands release single albums for. So, yeah.
Hell
so
yeah,
he's
man.
all in there, and he's pretty candid about it. Like he doesn't name names, but he's like, yeah, that shit happens. You know, I can give you an example. So the last recent triple album that I recall was Senjutsu, Iron Maiden.
Yes.
$50 brand new. I bought his Ripple tribute to CCR, Burr on the Bayou, $31. 3 vinyls, full color, gatefold, everything just the same except for the music, obviously. But why was it $19 more? Because it's made.
Well, yeah, and on top of that too, Senjutsu was really only 5 sides. It wasn't even a full 6 sides.
I bought the album for my stepson. I bought it used for $29.
Used for $29.
Yeah, exactly, used.
Dude,
yeah,
that's almost like the fucking...
I just can't justify it.
What was the fucking Tool album that was that way? Fear Inoculum. That was like $50. It was a $50 CD.
Yeah.
And that was not the fucking like the big pack. The big pack was like $120.
I vaguely remember that, but I don't. Tool's not on my radar. I know when they tour because it's all over the place, but other than that, I'm good. Yeah.
Right.
It's not for everybody, and it's not for me. So.
Well, yeah, for sure. I get that. It's not for me either.
Yeah, like I was saying in that interview with Todd also, he just talked about records and stuff, and I was telling him the day Eddie Van Halen passed away that I bought Van Halen 1 at Goodwill because I was like, it would do better at my house than it will sitting here in this fucking store.
Now, are you a fan of theirs?
Van Halen?
Yeah.
There's stuff. I mean, I'm not like a super fan per se, but there's stuff I really like.
See, like, I respect them for the musicianship.
Yeah.
You know, Eddie and Alex, and I'm not a big fan of Dave personally. I don't know. I don't get it, really. I just don't get, like, his rowdy fucking lyric, like, delivery. You know, he's screaming in the background of, like, Hot for Teacher, which I get because it's, like, pantomiming the fucking thing. But, like, when you, like, listen to, like, Running with the Devil, there's, like, no real discernible fucking, like, chorus or anything. But when he just starts rolling on and you almost, I can't tell what the fuck he says.
Yeah.
And it's like, it almost comes off as like the Vince Neil gibberish, but on album.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably a dickhead thing to fucking say.
I mean, like I said, I'm not crazy about everything they've done, but I do like Van Halen 1 a lot. And I already had a copy of it. So I was just telling him, like, this one, I just, when I found out he died, I just, like, took it inside. I grabbed, like, a really thick poly bag off another album. I put it in there. I put a piece of tape on it, and that's it. It's done. Like,
oh, so you found it on vinyl?
Yeah, I have a copy on vinyl, and I bought that one on vinyl along with Kiss Destroyer. That was
nice.
Also in the dollar bin.
I mean, were they dollar albums? Were they shit?
Yeah, they're every album they have in Goodwill is $1. Well, it was at that time. They're probably like $1.50 now. But.
Right, but no, what I'm saying is, were they shit though?
Oh, they were ragged as fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, the corners and everything were like, peeling and stuff like that. You know, the record looks like it's been very worn, but I was like, still, these will be better off at my house.
Well, yeah, than just sitting there. But no,
I didn't have a copy of Kiss Destroyer before I bought that one. So
have you actually listened to it?
No. I don't need to because I've heard that album so many times. No,
I know, but it's still, listening to it on vinyl is still better than listening to it on digital or CD.
Yeah, true.
I mean,
I have so much to get through.
That's funny that you mentioned that because I totally passed on a 40th anniversary Destroyer re-release deluxe edition.
Nice.
That was in the same store where I got the AC/DC from.
Yeah. And
stay tuned for the Metal Forge Unsleeved at the end of the month. You'll get to see this actual album along with a lot more. But yeah, so I passed on that. I might go back and get it because I think it was like $6.
And it's worth it.
And it's still 60% off. So
yeah.
But I've had that album before.
Is it at a Christian store?
It is.
At a Christian store? Dude, that's almost $6.66. $6 is 60% off. All you need is one more 6 somewhere.
I should have went back yesterday and bought it on the 6th. So, hell yeah, man. We're going to go ahead and get into this. We're going to play some fucking Annihilator right now. This is...
Not that Annihilator.
Not that Annihilator, but the one from Texas. This is Feel the Pain. Yeah.
Cool, man.
Far from staying, just me. I dig a grave and leave it alive. If I'm shot, I'm sentenced to die.
Metalheads, here we are. Oh my gosh, like, I've been doing so many awesome fucking interviews lately, and here we are with another one, because right now we have Alex Dominguez from Annihialator, fucking Texas fucking thrash metal from the 80s. Fucking awesome stuff, man. Dude, what is up?
Thank you for having me on your show, Mark. Not much, man. Just rocking and rolling, thrashing and crushing skulls. You know, just business as usual around here.
Dude, absolutely. So, for the people that don't know who you guys are, because let's face it, fucking thrash has a very underground influence in a lot of places still to this day. And, you know, with coming out and doing, doing Annihialator and then Sufferance and then now coming back out with Annihialator, kind of give everybody the rundown of what's up.
Well, Annihialator was formed by me in 1986. The deal was I was in a band from Texas called Devastation, and I did about a year and maybe a year and a half with them. I ended up, I'm not gonna lie, I ended up getting kicked out of the band because I had never been in a band before, so I didn't take being in a band serious. I sometimes would show up to practice, sometimes I wouldn't. I'd skip it to go, drink with the buddies or, go go do other nonsense. And then, so I had never been in a band before. And, well, long story short, where that Texas Devastation took off, they did their stuff. So I ended up, after I got removed from Devastation, I kind of came to my senses and decided, I really want to be in a band. So I ended up forming Annihialator in 1986, and I know there's a lot of your listeners out there saying, "What? Annihilate? Doesn't this guy know there's another Annihialator out there from Canada that's been around basically around the same time as we started?" And yes, I do know, but of course, this is 1986, and of course,
there's no internet.
There's no internet. There's no way of checking when you came up with a band name if someone around the world had the same band name. So luckily, I was a bad speller. Like I always say in my stories. Luckily, I was a bad speller, and I spelled Annihialator different.
Right.
And so that, I guess, coming back to where we are nowadays, and everybody, well, there's another Annihialator, of course. And my hat's off to the other Annihialator from Canada. Jeff Waters is awesome, and he's a shredder. That band, has done. I mean, plenty more than we'll ever do. And I give them props for that. And we're just more like a cult band. Kind of cruising the underground, and that's where we are. Just an underground band. So from 1986 to 1990, it was Annihialator, which we got signed to a company out of California called Wild Rag Records in 1987. We got signed to Wild Rag Records out of California. That company also had bands at the time, went on to sign other bands at the time, like Internal Bleeding, and they had Nuclear Death on there. They had, there was just a shitload of bands that some of them are still around to this day that are kind of big in the underground. But we got signed to them, put out 2 EPs and a picture disc in that short amount of time we were together. I mean, well, the band was named Annihialator. So from 1986 to 1990 was Annihialator. I decided to kind of put Annihialator on hiatus because towards the end, like in 1990, this is when we started finding out. Of course, the other band, Annihialator, had popped up, and they were on Road Racer Records, which is a huge company. They were getting videos, these huge tours. So I wanted to go beyond where we were at. I mean, we were just on a small indie label, and I figured that with the name, even though it's spelled different, pronounced the same, even with the name, that we didn't have a chance to kind of try to move up the ladder and get signed to a bigger label and do the same thing like every band wants to do, tour, put out releases and tour the world. And so I ended up putting Annihilator on hiatus and coming up with a band called Sufferance. I decided to name the band Sufferance and talked to the guy from Wild Rags and the label we were on. He was kind of into it, said, okay, let's try that. And he put out a 2-song demo that we released under Sufferance that had a song called Master of the Skies and Descent to Madness. And it was just a 2-song cassette. He gave it away free with it. He had a sort of a magazine type deal that he would send out to his all these people that would write to him.
Sure.
Because he was a record label / record store. So he also dealt with a lot of people from Japan, Switzerland, just all over the world. I mean,
the
Peru,
real tape trade.
I would when we were signed to Wild Rags, and this, mind you, this was before computers were around, internet. This guy would just snail mail shit everywhere, man. I would be floored when I'd come home and, my mom was, hey, you got mail. Somebody in Switzerland wrote to you, or somebody in Peru or Colombia or Mexico. This guy did his shit. This guy did his shit to get it out. So
let me interrupt for just a second. Okay. Even today in digital fucking world, I am still fucking taken aback when I get an email from somebody from like fucking Brazil or so it doesn't have to just even relate to just like snail mail. Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but I had to get that in.
Oh yeah. I mean, there was no email back then,
No, I know. So it's, to me, because of growing up with that era too, of snail mail and shit, I still look at, even though the world is a little bit smaller now with the internet and everything, I still like saying, like, when I get a cool email from somebody from Brazil saying, hey, I listened to this show, or I found your band, it's so fucking rad.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's cool to go in and open your email, and there's, like you say, there's people that can now reach out, and it doesn't take like 2 weeks for your letter that you wrote to get to someone, and then it takes another 2 more weeks for it to get back to you, or depending on how fast they wrote back to you. That was all the, for younger people that listen to your show, snail mail is, the U.S. Postal Service.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You bought a stamp, you bought an envelope, and you either typed your letter that you were writing to somebody, or you hand wrote it, stuck it in an envelope, sealed it, put a stamp on, and sent it off.
And if it was really bad, you had to put more than one stamp on.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like the cell phones right now. I mean, these calls are free. Back then, I had to use a landline, which, I don't know if any of your younger listeners know what a landline is.
Oh shit, probably not. I don't know if I
would have to.
I don't know if I have many younger listeners. I think the crest of my age group usually hits around, I get some of the fucking like 17 to like 22 or whatever, but most of them are like 25 to like 55.
Yeah, well, it was a phone that stuck on the wall at your house or on a desk, and you call. Well, I mean, at the time I was Annihialator. I lived at home. I was young, so I would make long distance calls to try to set up shows or to try to talk to other bands that I had corresponded with or met through the mail, like pen pal type stuff.
Okay, though.
Boy, man, my mom would be pissed.
But you're
when
also
that
from
fucking phone bill would
Texas,
come
so
in
it's
like
not that hard to
$200.
get long distance. Because because you're also talking about this as well with being in Texas, that in that day how much more fucking spread out the metal scene was. Yeah, you didn't know of the Canadian Annihilator because fucking, yeah, if you were probably in LA or San Francisco or New York or Chicago, places like that, yeah, you probably did. But fucking Texas, no. I mean, because let's face it, it's fucking almost 1,000 miles across the fucking state one way.
Yeah, me and my friends, we talk about that. I mean, you know, we get together, and I'm still like friends I met at concerts that, you know, we're spending the night to get front row for Sammy Hagar, or, you know, spending the night to see fucking Judas Priest or something, you know, because it's general admission and skipping school. And, I still have friends I met 40 years ago that I still see today. I still visit, I still hang out with them, you know, in different, you know, of course, in different parts of Texas, and we always bring this subject up. You know, it's always been like, you know, there's New York, and then there's California. For some reason, Texas was. I mean, I would always say not late to the party, but it was. How can I say it? I mean, we would, at least here in Corpus. Well, when I used to live in Corpus Christi, it was always finding stuff out, like the new Metallica Kill 'Em All had already been out a year before it even reached our record store.
Right.
You know, at the time when it came out, and finding that, thinking, oh shit, badass, you know, and this band Metallica, you know, I read about them in a Metal Force magazine that was outdated, that was sitting there, you know, on the record, you know, giveaway counter for the, you know, the where you put your flyers and stuff, because nobody bought the Metal Force, and it was. Corpus Christi was always kind of like last to find out what was going on music-wise, you know, when Thrash had just formed and Thrash was just coming out. So Texas, I mean, I don't know. I figure a lot of people will, you know, there's different, I guess there's different, how can I say it, different views. People tell me, like, well, because you're getting people that come in from overseas, you know, like through New York is a hub of where they get people that come from Europe. You know, they land in New York, and they bring their music with them, the new wave of British heavy metal, all that stuff. And then California is another part of a coast where people come in that are from, you know, Europe too. So they would probably bring more music in than coming into Texas, which is the state that's just like stuck in the lower middle of the United States. And I think, you know, while there was the Anthrax in New York and the Metallicas and the Slayers in California, I mean, we were late to catch on to you know, that type of music. Now, regardless, Texas has always had heavy metal bands,
sure,
you know, rock bands and all that, you know. But I think to get noticed from for thrash music, I think it kind of sunk into Texas kind of late. I don't want to say too late. I mean, I'm pretty sure one of your listeners in Texas might be like, oh no, man, I discovered Kill 'Em All, you know, trading demos and this and that. Well, you know, that could be true.
Also gotta take into consideration
somebody creating a band like Slayer, Metallica, or Anthrax, and, you know, Overkill or whatever like that. Those things came in. I mean, if you really want to look at the biggest Texas thrash band there is, and I'm not counting, I know everybody's, Pantera. No, I'm not counting, you know, to me, the biggest one that made an impact, and, well, they were on a major label, whether they made a huge splash or they created a big following or not, was Rigor Mortis out of Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they were signed to Capitol Records before, you know, anything. You know, they were carrying the flag for Texas. You know, there was in San Antonio. They had, you know, there were other bands in San Antonio. Like there was a band. I don't know if you're familiar with, but there was a band called San Antonio Slayer. They were called S.A. Slayer.
Yes. They
also were at the same time that Slayer formed in California. And they had this legendary show where it was Slayer versus Slayer in Texas.
Yep.
And it was just, it's just one of those things. I don't know why Texas doesn't get more recognition for their thrash bands, but who knows, man.
There's actually a very good documentary out there about that, and it's called Get Thrashed, and it's been out for fucking almost 20 years now. But it is still such a good watch, and I will fly that flag. And it was done by Rat Skates, of Overkill, and the supplemental material alone on the DVD version. I hope there's going to be I wish there would be a Blu-ray release with more shit, because I want as much of that as I can get. But it's so cool because they actually dissect more areas of thrash and get down to the very, very like the smallest of fucking area.
Yeah, I've seen that. It's kind of strange that at the end of that DVD, there's a little menu where you can go. I think it has the United States map, and if you click on a certain part of it, it tells you, it explains to you, I guess, the bands that were around. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, you hit Texas, and there's a guy there, I can't remember who it is, but he has an Annihilator album on his shelf or something. It's been a while since I've seen it, but he talks about the Texas movement. So that was pretty cool.
Absolutely, and I totally dig that stuff. So fast forwarding up to now, where it's 2023, and now the music, the metal scene is so fucking cool, because a lot of bands that maybe have only had a couple of things, like Annihilator had 3 years of actual material put out, but now somebody has found that and said, hey, I wanted to re-release it. And now it's doing that. And you're back. And here we are. It's 2024. I think I said 2023 a minute ago.
I'm getting used to it too.
It's 2024 and you're back. And what is up? What do you want to do now?
Well, we reformed in 2015 with the intention of just, everything, it's weird. The reason, I reformed the band together is because there was a lot of interest, a lot of. I was late to jump on Facebook, man. I didn't care. I could care less about a Facebook or whatever, the social media. MySpace back then, all that. I just was late to jump on Facebook. I had a MySpace because one of the bands that another band that I was in. We did a MySpace, but as for Facebook, I was kind of late to jump on it, and people were telling me, man, there's an interest in Annihilators. I see people posting this, posting that, posting this, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude. You ought to look into this and that. So I created a page, and once I put it out there, I started getting just tons and tons of messages from all over, and I'm like. I discovered, kids, most of them were from kids that were half my age, oh man, my dad turned me on to Annihilator. And a funny story real quick is there's a band called Hell Witch, and the drummer, his name is Brian Wilson. He also was drumming for Yngwie Malmsteen recently, and
yes, he drums for Night Demon now.
I'm sorry?
He's drumming for Night Demon now.
Yeah, Night Demon. He's in Night Demon now. Well, Brian, we ended up doing a show. I forgot. It was 2017 or something like that. We ended up doing a show with Brian because Brian plays drums for Hell Witch. So we ended up doing a show. We're kind of communicating on, I believe, on Facebook at the time. He shows up. We show up. It's in San Antonio. I'm walking around. I see him. I run up to him. Hey, Brian, what's up? What's up? He's pulls out a Annihilator album. The picture just, he's all my dad wants you to sign this for him. I was like, dude. All right, dude, it's not a problem. It's so what I'm trying to get at is that with the power of the internet, eBay and all that, kids and kids were running across people who had posted our, 4-song EP or our 3-song EP or our demo or whatever it was, that it was a new kind of crowd that found us. So 2015, we ended up, ended up putting the band back together and getting different members for that. And, doing shows, got a email from, I got a message from a friend that knew someone that out of Greece that was like a fan that, wanted to know if I would want to talk to them. I ended up talking to this guy in Greece. His name is John. He ran Face Melt Records. It's not around anymore, but he wanted to put their demos on double vinyl. And I was like, well, it's just 4 songs. Yeah. He ended up putting 3 different versions and some unreleased material on a double vinyl. That I actually found 3 different versions of the demo, and this friend of mine had a cassette of it. I don't know how he got it, but it was 3 different versions of it that we did in the recording studio. Like we did it, and it was like, nah, not that take, and we did it again, not that take, because recording is a whole different story back then in 86 or 86. So I ended up sending him. He put out a double vinyl out of Greece. It was all 3 different versions of our demo and some unreleased material. Well, he introduced me to, he goes, I know another guy that's really, crazy about Annihilator. And I said, oh, yeah. He goes, he has a record label. You might want to talk to him, because I'm pretty sure he might want to release all the old stuff on CD, which it had never been. So he introduced me to Dave Rotten, who runs Extreme Music, who also plays in a Volst and I forgot his other band right now. My mind went blank. I can't remember, but I ended up talking to him. He was interested in putting out our back catalog with some unreleased stuff too, I think, on CD. And so we let his company do it. So that's around 2018. So I happened to still talk to him after he released, and I said, hey, would you be interested in releasing some new music from Annihilator instead of all this old stuff? He's all like, whoa, y'all have new music? Which at the time I didn't have new music. We didn't have any kind of new music, but I just kind of threw a feeler out there, and he's all, yeah, I'll do it. I'll put out the new stuff. If you have some new stuff, I'll put it out.
Well, fuck yeah, man. And
that's
awesome.
So quickly, the guys that were working with me, we went in and they wrote some stuff, and we all collaborated on certain things, and they ended up, we ended up sending it to him, and he put it out. And that's the 2018 was the last recording, the last recording Annihilator did at the time was 2018, and that one is called Rise to Supremacy. It's 5 songs, and on that, though, the people I had on that certain release was Angel Gonzalez on vocals. It was me on bass. It was Armando Valadez on guitar, Roland Torres on guitar, and OJ Landa on drums. Each Annihilator release has had different people on it, for some odd reason or another. So that's what got released in 2018, and that was the last version, or the last release we did up to now, which is we're in the process of getting ready to release a full length, because we have never released a full length before. It's always been 5 songs or 4 songs. So we're actually going to be releasing a full length album through Extreme Music again. Hopefully this year, all the music is recorded. We're just right now finishing up the vocal parts, and we should have everything wrapped up here soon to send to the company, and then they can do their magic with it.
Hell yeah, dude. And now, so is this also a different lineup than the 2018?
Yes, yeah, it's also a different lineup than the 2018. The 2018, nobody from 2018 recording is on this new one except for me.
Oh, awesome. So see, dude, that's kind of a cool thing. It's if you remember the thing back in the day with Dave Grohl, the Probot Project, where every song had a different fucking lineup, and it was except for him, he was the only constant in everything. And that was the cool shit about it. And he would play like drums on a track, or he'd play guitar on a track, or he would, you know, do like backing vocals and shit with like Ozzy or who the fuck ever, King Diamond.
Yeah.
And dude, that's totally cool, because I think it leads to, there is a no pun intended because you're the bass player, but there is a bass idea, and the sky's the limit for what each EP/album/ whatever single can be.
Yeah.
And dude, that's got to be fucking rad to sit there and be like, hey, you know, do you want to contribute to the next Annihilator project?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
it's fun, you know, because it's all fresh ideas. It's like, okay, you know, the guitar players are telling, well, what are you shooting for? All right, you know what, this last recording we did this, that. I want to totally, you know, do this, that this time. All right, you know, so give them a game plan or whatever, and then they go to, you know, actually it's not even a day, it's one person. One guitarist is he's the one that helped me out. So his name is JD De La Rosa. He took over and went to town writing. I mean, just it was really cool watching him create stuff and sending it to me. And I was like, wow, damn, yeah, you're getting my vision. You know, it's like, so yeah, it's a totally different band this time around.
Dude, that's awesome to fucking hear, dude. Hell yeah. And because you sit there and said before we started rolling about not really wanting to, or being able to answer much, all I'm going to say is I recently went through something like you did, where somebody had laid claim to a name and had to go through the trademark deal, and congratulations for that and standing up for your fucking stuff, because fuck that shit. And fucking dude, you've got the deal, and that's awesome.
Yeah, it was tough, man. I mean, you know,
and it's a lot of money, because that's the jerk off fucking government system, but it's the quote right thing to do. And dude, that's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it was like I said, it just it was an interesting ride, man. I tell you that. It was not that this band is like, I can understand. It's funny because I think back of it, I said, people are probably saying, who the fuck is this band anyway? I mean, never even heard of them. And you know, it's like, you know, two Queens Rykes or two Saxons or two whoever the band, you know, there's always a two. And it's just it wasn't because this band makes money, and it's not because, oh, I'm gonna, you know, I'm making as Annihilator and I'm, you know, touring, which we don't tour. We just kind of go out here and there, do a festivals or do this or that, you know, and it's not touring.
But that's cool though.
I'm old now and I work, so
that's where you're
not
at,
out to.
though.
I'm sorry, what?
But that's where, I mean, honestly, I think that's the allure of it. Yeah, I mean, a cool like short tour would be awesome, of course, because that's just what it is. But you got to think, what is it, Doc Brown? You got to think fourth dimensionally, man. You know, because sometimes it can't fucking be a reality. But the things that you can do, like a fucking Hell's Heroes or a fucking Frozen in Time or Steel and Stone or Big Goddamn Metal Show.
Keep It True in Europe or something. Keep It True in Europe.
And yes, all of those fucking shows. I did the shameless plug for my show in there. That's what I did. And Jason's show. So yeah, I'm being a smartass there. But anyway, yeah, I mean, but that's really where it is, I think, is, you know, because metal, I don't want to say it is, but it's not. It's kind of become like a niche thing where you have pockets of it, and it's cool because these people, like the Pacific Northwest scene, is awesome, and then the fucking like the Texas metal that's going on right now is so fucking cool. There's a lot of cool Texas death out there, fucking, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah. I mean, the whole fight about this name thing was just more about principle than it was about, you know, any type of money that this band is making, or, you know, any type of fame this band has claim to or anything like that. It was like, I came up with the name. I spelt the name. I got the people to join the band that needed to join, and then to turn around and have like two of the ex-members from the last recording and the original singer from the beginning tell me that I'm out of my band when, I got the axe from my band when, this guy wasn't even on the last album singing. So how am I going to get the axe from him? And how am I going to get the axe from two people that I were the ones who brought into the band? So he wanted to, he claimed that was his name. That was this and that. And well, I just, had to do what I had to do. Just hired some lawyers, trademarked the name, and
you know what?
It went before a federal. The case was going to be presented before a federal judge, and federal judge went my way. So,
and here's the thing, and about that is why it is so important to have a way to show proper timeline of making the property of thing, like the Metal Forge. I had this, I showed where I could do this, and it was right here, and bam, there it was. And that is really where it's at. And so when you're in a band and you know that this is going somewhere, and make sure you and you're in this for the long haul, make sure you document everything,
Yep.
That's where I appreciate what they used to have is in the taper sections at shows, because those people were documenting that stuff. And it was a thing where fucking, it could be proven by the date, and there it is. And that's rad shit. But dude, awesome shit. I want to go ahead and switch over to the derailed segment. This is 5 random questions about you as a person.
Yeah, sure.
Hell yeah, man. If your job had a show and tell, what would you be proud to show off?
How well I cut steaks, I guess.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah. Dude, yeah, I think I think butchery is an artwork.
It's fun. It's fun messing with all the animal carcass and blood and, all the meat carnage on the, after you're done. So it is fun.
Okay. Not the Slayer aspect of it. That's cool on another level. That's cool on another level. But no, doing certain cuts with certain cuts of meat and stuff like that. I've always thought that that's a lost artwork that a lot of people are, they're doing it in factories in some places, when you get to whatever level, and it's just it's not the same, I guess.
Yeah, it's not like the old days where they hung it on a hook and and you just went to town on the cow or whatever. It's sent in boxes. Certain parts are wrapped, and it's just you just cut it out with a bandsaw and put it on some a tray and wrap it and stick it out on the shelf. It's not as exciting and artsy as it used to be. From what I hear, the manager I have, at my store is at my time we used to hang them in the hooks and gut them and blah 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 blah, and it's I'm pretty sure back then it was, but I can't take too much credit for it because it's not as to me it's not really an art form anymore like it used to be, because it's just everything comes in boxes and you just bust it out and slice it.
Yep. I get that. So, yeah, for sure, man. Do you think a lot of inventors never made money off of their inventions because someone beat them to the copyright?
I can imagine I'm pretty sure there was a lot of people who came up with some cool ideas and just didn't didn't beat other people to the punch. I mean, or it got stolen from them showing somebody, I mean, there's all kinds of crooked people in this world. So if you were to show somebody, even friends, people who you think are your friends that you've known for 30 some years, end up to be, fucking Judases and, fucking snakes in the grass. So I found that out recently with all this shit going on. So, I mean, it could be somebody that you trust, you show this invention to, and they turn around and do the same thing and take it and trademark it or whatever they need to do. So I feel like a lot of inventors have gotten ripped off like that.
For sure. I do too. I mean, like, just with Tesla alone, definitely think it, a lot of times people, and I know it happens in the fucking music industry all the time too, especially in the early days of like commercialized music with like Elvis and fucking Little Richard and shit like that, where they were buying fucking B-side songs for fucking $5 from people, and basically, the people would get money after they sold, however many copies of singles or whatever, but like they were being shortchanged on the front end and shit like that, so I totally get it that way. And would you ever want to star in a film?
Yeah, that would be all right. That'd be cool. I mean, who wouldn't want to be? I mean, that would be something to, one for the books. I'm not saying it's on my bucket list. I've never really thought about it till you asked that. But yeah, I probably wouldn't mind, doing a movie or something. That would be pretty cool.
What would you want it to be about?
Shit. I don't know. Good question.
So you want to star in a film? I mean, what has it got to be about? I mean, dude,
everything's been done in the world. I mean, every idea has been used up and then reused the same idea in Hollywood. I mean, they're making all these remakes. It's, pretty shitty how nobody's trying to put out, original shit anymore.
Right.
And
but I think there's a beauty behind some of the throwback sleaze, like the Expendables and Machete and shit like that. I think there's some kind of beauty behind it.
Yeah. I mean, those are things, but when you're doing like 15 different Halloweens.
Oh yeah,
when the first two were good left alone, it's like, fuck it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, how many different fucking stories can you write,
Right.
It's like the first one was cool, maybe the follow-up was a little weak, but it just stuff like that.
Bill Moseley in that though, and Dennis Hopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and so everything's, like I said, I wouldn't even know what to star in. I mean, it's like all these ideas are taken, and I wouldn't like to write the movie. I would just like somebody to say, hey, you want to be, somebody running around with a machete, or hey, you want to be the guy on a building that's taking people out, a sniper, or hey, you want to be the funny guy in the van that's in this fake rock band that is touring, and ends up in a desert for a show and ends up, getting eaten by a fucking underground sand monster or some shit like that.
Holy fucking shit, you just wrote it. That is it right there.
I don't know. I think Tremors has that underground thing in it, so I might get sued for that.
But it's like an underground graboids. Graboids. Dude, Tremors for the win. Fuck yes. How often do you order takeout?
I don't. I like to eat it. Usually I like to eat my food there at the place. I even don't like doing drive-through sometimes unless the restaurant or the fast food place is like really close, because I hate fucking cold food, or I hate food to be soggy or wet. Sometimes they put them in these containers where the heat makes them sweat and shit like that, and you get there and your bun's all fucking soggy or this or that. So I don't really do much takeout. It's usually I'll eat it there, or I'll pick it up. Like I said, if it's close enough.
Sure. Yeah, the ones I hate are the fucking like the metal tin bottom and the plastic fucking top, and they like squeeze together. Fuck that shit. It makes everything terrible. It like makes your fries fucking soggy. It makes your fucking like fucking rice fucking like it makes your rice suck and all that shit too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I can't stand for it to be, you know, that's why I don't, I mean, pizza, I guess if like the kids want pizza or something like that, you know, that pizza's okay. I can always, you know, stick it in the oven and reheat it if it's that bad, or, you know, it becomes too cold or whatever. But any other food, you know, you try sticking in the oven or the microwave or even an air fryer sometimes, this doesn't work.
Oh, for sure. You know, yeah, I'm that guy, dude. Like, I really love the air fryer shit now. I mean, I got one about 2 years ago, and other than the grill outside, it's almost exclusively what I've been using.
Yep.
Yeah,
because we have one here at the house too, and it's like, I've gone crazy getting, you know, like chicken legs and wings and stuff, and just throwing them in there and just crisping them up, and, you know, homemade potatoes, French fries, throw them in there. And yeah, that air fryer is like, I think it gets used more in my household more than the stove does, and maybe even the microwave. You know, that air fryer is the shit.
Oh yeah, dude, and you can make some good fucking shit in there. I'm thinking about doing a Metal Forge cookbook. Actually, we've talked about it. Jason and I have, my broadcast partner. We've talked about that shit, about doing fucking like metal tour meals and shit, and fucking like how to fucking like eat on a budget and shit like that.
Hell yeah.
And that's
awesome.
Metal fucking gourmet fucking like gourmet shit for on cheap.
Oh yeah. How to survive on cheap.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, thank you so fucking much for this. This has been awesome. I've had a fucking really awesome time. But dude, I have one more question. But before we get into it, as always, links are listed below. So please give a like, a share, and a follow. Go support in any way you can. Obviously, you can find things on Bandcamp for the digital releases on Weird Face Productions. That's still on there. And
okay.
I'm sure there's other places as well. Like I said, I always leave links. But do you have any shout outs you want to give to anybody today, Alex?
Just the people that, you know, didn't choose sides when this legal battle was going on. The people that knew, I mean, if you, like they say, if you know, you know. You know, what was going on with the band name and who had the rights to it. A shout out to my new band, the guys I'm using this time around, JD De La Rosa. Shout out to him, or, you know, the vocalist I'm using this time around, Tony Gomez. Shout out to him. Those guys, very talented, have multiple bands on their own. JD has a band with his wife called Hexea. His wife sings, he plays, you know, guitar in that band. JD also used to play in a technical death metal band here in Texas, down in the valley called Severance. He did guitar for them. He's also now in a band out of Houston. It's like a grind band too, called PLF. So he's helping them out on drums. He's you know, on this recording, he did the drum. He played drums on it, and he did the fucking guitar. And wait till you hear it, man. It's fucking.
I'm
his
excited.
Is phenomenal.
I mean, I'm like jonesing to fucking hear some new shit. So, fuck yeah. Yeah. Shout out to them. Shout out to Extreme Music for sticking by us and
and Dave Rotten for, you know, having faith in all this. You know, he could have easily said, "Oh, this is a soap opera going on. I'm walking away," but he knew who the true Annihilator was, and you know, we still have the record deal. He's still, you know, gonna push us like he did on the last release. So yeah, shout out to everybody, all my friends, all the fans out there that have new and old, that just, you know, thank you. I hope you enjoy, you know, listening to the music, and thank you, Mark. You know, I really appreciate you having me on the
Hell
podcast.
Yeah, man. I mean, fuck, dude. It's like, I love like all eras of fucking metal, and especially thrash. I love thrash from the beginning, and it's like so much ingrained into me that it's like, I don't know. It's like, it's there. It's always been there.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I can't explain it. It's like,
Yep.
it's like that little bit. It's like I'm like Bailoff for a little bit. You know, I could do that little rage fucking thing. You know, like turn into the Hulk. You know.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. What modern thrash band has gotten your attention, made you sit up and say, "Whoa, that for a band playing that style of music now." What band has got your attention?
Okay, modern thrash. If I would say, if I were to say modern thrash major label, would be somebody like Municipal Waste.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that they do has been continuously fucking awesome.
Yeah.
The whole way through. More independent. Probably somebody like Toxic Ruin or Tantivy. And then those are both bands up in Wisconsin, and they're pretty fucking awesome. But then again, you know, there's fucking like, I'm really starting to get into a lot more like blackened thrash, and there's a band in Texas called Sadistic Force. Oh my fucking God. Love those fucking dudes. Fucking, you know, and I mean, it's all fucking cool, man. And that's what I love about, it's almost like the new age of tape trade is Bandcamp. And and it's cool because you can find out so many fucking awesome bands and Metal Archives. You know, I love the site and I contribute to it as much as I can, and I'll always tout their flag. But dude, I have one last question. And everybody who knows, they always know. It's like I try to go beyond on these. Is how do you think in your lifetime that they will find living organisms in space?
Well, I don't know. In my lifetime, I don't think. I don't know. I don't know how long I got left to live because I'm pretty old right now. So I mean, that would be a good question for somebody younger. But in my lifetime, I mean, I'm already 58, so I'm sure they might have already found it. They don't tell anybody.
Sure.
You know. I there's a lot of things that they hide. Government hides from. I'm not going to be telling you I'm a conspiracy theorist or anything, but I just believe there's a lot of things that have been created to help, like illnesses that they don't want to put out because it'll affect the money chain. I'm sure they've already found stuff like what you're saying that they just don't release it to the public. So yeah, I believe, and I guess you could say, I guess in my lifetime they will, or they have already,
Sure. I totally get that, man. And I think there's been things that happened. There's an episode that I was talking with somebody about, and where we were saying, like, the crazy thing about dinosaurs and humans never living at the same time, but the dinosaurs were wiped out by a meteorite. How do we know that human life didn't come from the meteorite?
True.
Like we were.
Human life had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, we were alien at some point.
Right.
So
That's what
fucking
I'm saying,
rad
you know?
shit, dude. Alex, thank you so fucking much for being on the Metal Forge this week. This has been fucking awesome. So fucking rad to talk to you. Fucking dude, off of Rise to Supremacy, what do you want to play?
Let's do you know what? Let's do Thick Skin.
Hell yeah, dude. You heard him. This is Thick Skinned. Yeah.
Falling down to a level that we never fallen to before. Shifting nations, badly strong, with the promise of a better world. The quantity, right through your skin, blinded shameless against the walls. Feel the hate, blood is rain, they sort of beat the weak and strong. If you dare to question my state, and the world as I see it, you have to know your place. Emulate the power of mass is not the border of the human soul. Bleeding through the memories, shattered visions guided to the core. But once it be, society rebels and the new twist of form. Crush the weak, bleed to bleed, now you are obsolete. Power, if you dare to question my state, as the world and I see it, you have to know your place. Choose your work wisely, for there's no return. We are the rogue, rise to power.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code METALFORGE10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Sit back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code METALFORGE10 to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana is the premier 12,500 square foot music superstore that has served both southern Indiana and Louisville, Kentucky metro area for over 4 decades. Originally founded by Marvin and Beverly Maxwell in the 70s, this gym remains a Maxwell family-owned business. Mark Maxwell, along with his business partner Whitney McNichol, continued the reputation as being the national resource for all things music.
In 2022, the iconic Guitar Emporium of Louisville relocated to Maxwell's Music, creating the largest independently owned showroom in the region. The retail offerings at Maxwell's Music includes a huge selection of guitars, basses, amplifiers, effects pedals, modeling amps, keyboards, drums, banjos, mandolins, ukuleles, sound systems, stage lighting equipment, and accessories. The music education program at Maxwell's is second to none. From private instrument and voice lessons to DJ, EDM, recording, songwriting, and music theory, to rock school, weekend warriors, and Maxwell's Music Lab, there is something for every age and every ability level.
Down in Repairland, guitar and instrument repairs and refurbishment are taken care of by the Maxwell's team of expert guitar technicians and luthiers. They also do appraisals of instruments as well. Maxwell's offers installations for professional audio, visual, and lighting systems for schools, churches, clubs, VFWs, funeral homes, sports fields, and so much more. There's also rentable space at Maxwell's, from the music practice and rehearsal rooms for the individuals and bands, all the way to a meeting space and concert venue that seats up to 120. That also includes a professional audio, visual, and lighting system and a sound booth. Maxwell's has it all. All this plus original functioning 1947 recording booth to make your own record. Go to the Guitar Hero throne, to the very own Elvis statue, and don't forget the Harmony Green Pocket Park. There's a reason the Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana has been recognized by the National Association of Music Merchants as a #1 award-winning best store design, as well as top 100 music store year after year. You gotta see it to believe it. Maxwell's House of Music in Jeffersonville, Indiana.